Hello, welcome back to the Dog Author channel. So good to have you here. I'm Jean Alfieri, the dog author, and I am not going to be reading today from my book, Twisty and True Tales of a Shelter Dog Matchmaker, but you're going to get a flavor of the kind of writing I do because I'm going to read a story that, to no one's surprise, involves dogs. And it's actually two stories with the same dog as the main character. So I hope you enjoy it. This is actually a very recent story and I've blogged about it. So if you're interested, go over to dogauthor.com, check out my blog, subscribe. It's just really fun, short, sweet stuff. And if you're a dog lover or if you work in the animal shelter industry, you'll appreciate it. And so we welcome you there and hope to see you soon. So the first of the two-part stories is called Whose Dream Is This Anyway? It needs to be a bigger home with a spacious backyard. Other dogs are fine, but I'd rather it be an older couple, or at least someone who is home most of the day. My friend Kim called to say she'd decided to move back to her home country. Not much of a collector, downsizing would be easy, but finding a place for Roxy might be a major hurdle. The 9-year-old boxer wouldn't be making the trip with her, and the heart-wrenching search to rehome the sweet old girl had begun. Kim was evaluating someone who had expressed interest. I held back a laugh when she explained all the prerequisites she'd established for the ideal new owner for Miss Roxy. She loves company, Kim continued with her stipulations. She needs companionship, but no small kids. Are you sure this is Roxy's list and not your American dream of being rehomed? Kim paused. She was worried and only wanted to do right by her dog. I told her this story. 4 years after I adopted my beloved pug Wyatt, we became a blended family. Josh and I married, and his dog Chance joined us. When Chance died a couple of years later, I was confident Wyatt was happier being the only dog in the house. It was like old times. He could move around as he pleased and had several fluffy dog beds to choose from. He could lie in the sun or by the fireplace and not compete with anyone for prime bedding or attention. But Josh wanted to get an Airedale. We ended up with a brother and sister duo, Duke and Daisy. Since Wyatt was mostly blind at that point, I worried they might get snarly when he bumped into them, but neither seemed to mind the meandering pug. The boy dogs had peeing competitions in the backyard, and if Daisy beat Wyatt to the best pillow, he'd simply curl up next to her. A few months before he died, Wyatt also lost his hearing. He constantly wanted to be touched, so he knew someone was near. When I sat at my desk, he'd sniff my leg, then whine until I rubbed him with my foot. One afternoon, Wyatt sat down next to my chair, and I petted him. But he continued to whine. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. The whining got louder and went on for 10 minutes. I simply couldn't do anything to comfort him. Finally, Daisy walked up. She gave Wyatt a little shoulder poke with her nose and laid down with a grunt. Wyatt sniffed Daisy and wedged himself in, back to back next to her. The whole time, he had been summoning his Airedale. I looked at them and said, "Well, Wyatt, I'm glad we got a dog for you." But he was already snoring, content with having Daisy nearby. Kim laughed. You think I can ease up a bit on my requirements? Maybe a bit, I laughed with her. How often do we know better and in that miss out on allowing good things to happen? Part 2, Roxy the Boxer. Remember the story of my friend Kim and Boxer Roxy? 2 weeks after that phone call, I was attending an aqua aerobics class at a new rec center. I needed to leave class 15 minutes early to get to work. The instructor wasn't going to let my early departure go unnoted. Have you had enough of me? She chided as I emerged from the pool. I wanted her to know I enjoyed the class, so I walked over and said, I'm sorry to miss the cool down, but I volunteer at the Humane Society. She cut me off mid-sentence. You work at the Humane Society? I nodded. Peggy, she yelled over the pool. She can get you a boxer. She was pointing at me. She turned back and said, her boxer died last month. She only adopts boxers. I told her that when the time was right, God would get her another one. Who is Peggy? I asked. The instructor pointed her out. I walked around and Peggy swam over. Hi, I'm Jean. I understand you like boxers. My last 6 rescue dogs have been boxers. The last one was 9 when she passed away. Is 9 too old? Not at all. I have a friend who's trying to rehome her boxer because she's moving out of the country. She may already have someone lined up, but I'll leave you my number. Send me a text, and if she's still looking for someone, I'll connect you. Peggy agreed. I sent Kim a text when I got to my car. Have you rehomed Roxy yet? I met someone today who loves boxers. I'd barely hit send when my phone rang. It was Kim. Jean, I was praying about Roxy just this morning. The woman I was talking to ghosted me. I haven't heard from her in 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on or why it's taking so long to rehome Roxy. I relayed the odd turn of events at my aqua class and promised to pass along Peggy's number when I received it, which I did that afternoon. Then I added Kim and Roxy to my prayer list and waited. A couple of days passed with no news. This had to work out, right? A couple more days passed before I got the call from Kim. I held my breath for the update. Peggy was the answer to my prayers, Kim said. She loves Roxy, and Roxy took to her so quickly. I thought we'd just do a meet and greet this morning, but Roxy didn't want to leave. So I'm going home to pick up her stuff. My heart ached for Kim. Her words were a relief, but I could hear the sorrow in her voice. I know the house will feel lonely, I offered, but I'm so glad this worked out. Me too, she said. Peggy is really a lovely person, and she adores boxers. We laughed. We shared a laugh about the whirlwind set of circumstances that God put in play to answer Kim's prayer. A move out of the country, plus no return phone call, plus leaving class early, plus a comment to the instructor, plus a beloved pet passing away, plus 2 pet owners who love boxers, plus 2 other people connecting those 2 people, and several prayers equaled a new home for Roxy. Sometimes I think he's just showing off, I said. Kim replied, he wants us to know he's got us in his hands. Amen. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a pleasure being with you again. So dogauthor.com, you know that by now. And if you want to check out the fun pug stories, they're at zuggythepug.com and Zuggy the Pug YouTube channel. So check us all out. Thanks so much. Take care. See you soon.